Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dawkins on Duke. This week we got my captain, John Scheyer, on. And as always, if you're liking what you're hearing, what you're seeing, please like and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're listening and you want to watch it and you missed the live Twitter video, you can always check us out at the Field of 68 on YouTube and subscribe there, and you'll get a notification whenever a new one goes up. And before we get into today's show, I wanted to introduce our first sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. While the holiday season may be winding down, the sports calendar is in full swing this week. From collegiate to professional sports, there's no shortage of action, and there's no better place to get in on all of this action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. If you haven't tried out DraftKings Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? To celebrate this year's college football playoffs, DraftKings is giving all new users the chance to bet on any semifinal team to win a championship at 100-1 odds. That's right. All you have to do is bet $1 on any semifinal team to win the championship, and if your team wins, you cash $100. While we are all excited about football, let's not forget the 2021 basketball season just kicked off. So head to the app now to check out all the DraftKings daily odds boosts. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code FIELD68 when you sign up. That's promo code FIELD, FIELD 68 when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any semifinal team to win it all. That's code FIELD 68 for new players to get a shot at $100 on any semifinal this week for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Without further ado, here's my interview with my guy, John Scheyer. Enjoy. All right, welcome back, everybody. We got my guy, my captain, John Scheyer. Thank you for coming on.
Man, it is so good to be here with you and keep a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we start this podcast the same way. Got to get what was your welcome to Duke moment?
Welcome to Duke moment, man.
Oh
yeah. It was actually the first practice I ever had at Duke, and during the practice, there's always a segment, right, where you're doing zigzag to start or you're doing some drills. But the first segment of 5-on-5, I caught the ball. Literally, this is one of the first few plays. I caught the ball in transition on the left wing, and I was open, and I passed up the shot. And immediately, coach blew his whistle. And in a very different tone than the recruiting process, he basically told me not to pass up any more shots.
Yeah, I'm sure he said it in a real nice way. And
very nice way. And told me, stop being soft, and that's not why we recruited you. And that was just like, all right, I'm here now. Like I'm actually here. And, from then on, and, obviously was really good, but that was just a different tone was set at that point.
Yeah. And you never passed up another shot again.
That's right. You would know.
So coming out of high school, how much of an influence was Coach Collins to you getting to Duke?
Yeah, CC meant a lot to me. He just going to the same high school.
Yep.
I remember very vaguely, but going to his high school games when I was really young, because he's really old now.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're getting
absolutely
up.
Absolutely
is. But, and so, just being able to relate to just, have someone be able to say, oh, well, how was the game versus Niles North on Friday? And know Niles North is, or just to know the area, that helped a lot. And, I feel like he saw some similarities maybe in our games, but also understanding the differences. But he was very influential, supportive through my time at Duke. And but he definitely he played a big part of me coming there, no doubt.
Yeah. And, you're saying a lot of nice things about him, which is great. But is there a bit of a rift in you guys' relationship after you broke his scoring record in high school?
You bring it up. I think it's, look, clearly, I did break all of his records. And so there's no rift on my end.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For you, it's cool.
So I think you have to ask him
Yeah.
personally. I mean, he does have one record at our high school, and that is most shot attempts in a game.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. That
It's
makes
40.
sense.
He took 45 shots. I'm almost positive it's 45. It may be 44. And I tried my best to break it. I took 41 shots one game in high school, but I was not able to beat him. So that he has that record. I don't think that will ever be
No,
broken.
that'll be tough to break. That's gonna
Yeah.
be tough to break. So I was reading a little bit about you in high school, and read that your dad said, people wanted you to go to one of the powerhouses in Chicago, but you wanted to stay at at the school you were at. What made you want to, just stay there and build a legacy there as opposed to, going somewhere established?
Well, I felt like, at that point, when you're an eighth grader going into high school, you don't know what's going to become of your basketball future,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I felt like I was really good at the time. And there was a local school, Evanston. Evanston has always had a great tradition of
Yep.
basketball and academics. And there's another school, New Trier, which was like another powerhouse as well. And I felt like Evanston, we had conversations about, do I go there? And ultimately, the guys I ended up playing with in high school, we grew up together. The team we won the state championship with, we were all friends since being 5 years old. And so it just felt like we could make it happen in Glenbrook North. And, we did. And I'm proud of that. And I think there's something to be said of just of creating your own path, and I think that's what we were able to do. Staying at GBN. That's what
Yeah.
we call it. That's the cool
Oh,
guys.
yeah. Okay.
GBN.
Yeah. All right. All
That's
right.
just
All
so you
right.
know. I'm gonna change the angle here. I'm gonna bring it over here. That's all
All
right.
right. No problem. So again, just doing a little bit of research, and I found this little nugget.
Oh.
And you gotta let me know if this is true or not. People called you the Jewish Jordan in Chicago.
Some people did. Some
Okay.
people. That is actually that is yes. I guess that would be the answer.
Okay. Are you still going by that, or is that did you leave
Well, it's
that?
funny. We're saying Jewish Jordan, and I have the Christmas tree up in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to get into all my religious beliefs and my wife and family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was from time to time. My high school for a while when we won the state championship.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big article, a big deal that all five of us. It was the first team to win with 5 Jewish starters.
Mm-hmm.
So that was and our sixth man was not Jewish. But anyway, it was anyway, that was so people like to make that a thing, and
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not bad, I guess. Worse things to be called.
Yeah, definitely. Anything with Jordan in it is okay.
Yeah, for sure. Talk about the game. You put up 21 points in 75 seconds. How is that possible?
So it's funny because that's become like one of the biggest highlights of my playing career in high
Mm-hmm.
school. And going into that game, we had won 35 games in a row dating back to the year before. And we were number one team in the state. That's when you had, Derrick Rose and, Patrick Beverly and Marshall team. There's a lot of great teams, but we were number one. And all of a sudden we were playing Proviso West, or the Proviso West Christmas tournament, which was, one of the best. And we were down 13, and you know how it goes into the game. It happened very quickly because, I got fouled. So I made 2 free throws. Then they inbounded it. I stole the inbounds pass and made a layup. Sorry, actually, I take that back. I got fouled. I made 2 free throws. And then the next play, they turned the ball over. I came up and hit a 3 and got fouled.
Oh,
Just like
4
that,
points.
6 points.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and plus the 2 free throws is 6.
Right.
And then I stole the inbounds pass and then made a layup and got fouled. So just like that, in like 5 seconds, there was 9.
Yeah.
So, again, we'd foul them, come down, hit a 3, foul 3, until we got to, 21. We cut it to 2 or 3 times, but we ended up losing. And I remember crying so hard, after that game losing. And I remember Jabari Parker was at that game. Jabari was
Mm-hmm.
there, and he told me a funny story that he was waiting to get an autograph from me, which is funny to me for whatever reason. And I was so upset I didn't sign any autographs that night, and he remembered
Oh
being pissed
man.
at me. So anyway, that's a
And
funny
somehow he
story.
still ended up at Duke. Unbelievable, man. He almost ruined it like
I
10
did
years
almost
ahead
know
of
it.
event.
Who would have known?
That's funny. Um, Talk a bit about where your competitive nature comes from. I mean, you're one of the most competitive people I know, and I know that story about where you sat in the gym all night trying to make 50 free throws in a row. And I've been around you and played with you, and I know how competitive you are. Where's that come from?
I don't know. For whatever reason, ever since I've been young, I've hated to lose, and it could be, obviously basketball is what I do now as a coach, and we play together. Always wanted to win, but it could be anything. I just
Mm-hmm.
always felt like that's why you do things, is to try to be the best you can and to win. And been known to have a temper at times. When I do lose, and I haven't been known to be necessarily the best sport, but I want to win. And, I've always hoped as a player, but also as a coach or anything I do, people don't question, my desire to win. I hope that's one of the things people will call me. And, I don't know what it's from. I also think, Dre, I know I'm not necessarily the most intimidating player, walking on the floor. I'm sure when you're walking in as a freshman, you're looking at me and being like, this guy, how good can he really be?
Yeah. No, I found out pretty quickly though. So
Well, I always felt like you have to have a chip on your shoulder,
hmm
I always felt like I had to prove, when I said I was going to Duke, I think a lot of people, I remember them saying, whether it's to my face or you read things, he's going to have a hard time playing there.
hmm
And, same thing when I was at Duke. All right, he's playing, but can they win, with him?
hmm
And so I always felt like I had to have a bigger chip on my shoulder, to prove things.
Yeah. So you get to Duke, started every game as a freshman. What was that like? Did you expect to do that? Was it just kind of thrust on you? What was that process like as a freshman coming in and starting every game?
Man, it was a lot. We had a really tough season. By the way, I hope at some point, are we going to get to the Baylor game at some point?
Maybe we'll see.
If not, I'm going to throw it in there. I'm just
Yeah,
letting you know we're going to
I'll
talk
I'll
about.
I'll let you bring it up when as we get there, and I don't want to toot my own horn or anything.
Because if people who are listening already know by me saying that, I think they know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact I'm on your podcast, I'm bringing it up. And we're definitely going to talk about Georgia Tech too in the finals. By the
All
way,
right. Yeah, yeah.
when I
Okay.
was right here, when
All
I was
right. Yeah, yeah. We'll get to 2010.
all
We'll
right,
get
all
to
right, just making sure.
2010.
I'm just making sure. But no, my freshman year, I felt like I was ready. I weighed about 170 pounds, which didn't help.
Yeah.
Um, but I played well in the preseason, and
I mean, to be fair, you weighed about 175 your senior
135
year.
exactly. But so I felt the freshman year was just a huge learning experience. I mean, we had 2 4-game losing streaks that year. I don't
Mhm.
know if any of the teams you were on ever had that. I don't think they
I don't
did.
know if we ever lost twice in a row.
That, yeah,
Maybe one time.
maybe one time. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely not 3 times. And so you can imagine what that was like,
Right.
having it happen twice. And
Yeah.
so just you learn how hard it is. We lost. The main thing I learned was just finishing games. We'd be in every game. We would
Yeah.
lose overtime. We would lose, end of regulation. Um, and that's the thing. I mean, I learned how you have to finish games.
hmm And your freshman year obviously was it ended how it did against VCU and them, and Maynard hitting the shot. I mean, what was that like? Obviously, coming in as a freshman, you're expecting to win. They got a bunch of banners hanging up. So you're expecting to get in the tournament and make things happen. What was it like, ending your freshman year like that?
Well, ever since I was young, I don't think this is as big of a thing anymore. I don't know if it was for you, but I would always watch the one shining moment. You know,
Mm-hmm.
after the championship, I'd always stay up late as a young kid. And so, one of my things going to college, I was like, it would be pretty damn cool to be in one shining moment. Like that's what I want to be in. And so in that VCU game, first of all, I get hit, right under my eye. I still have a scar there. Uh, but I got hit, and blood was going everywhere. 2 minutes left in the game. And so, Jose, our trainer,
Mm-hmm.
just basically glued it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
took that, he took that stuff and
Uh-huh.
just to make it stop, and was figure it out after the game.
Yeah.
Come back in, and Maynard, he hits a tough shot, hits a good shot right over me, to win the game with 1 second left. And so my first time in one shining moment
It was that, yeah.
was that, getting a game-winning shot hit on me. And I remember after the game, the team left. I was there by myself, and Jose and Dr. Bytomsky and everybody, and they're stitching me up. And that's not the way I imagined,
Yeah.
freshman year or any season ending. So it
Yeah.
was just like a huge, huge motivation, to get better and to grow from it, because it was a tough experience to say the least.
Yeah. So going into 09, 10 team season, I guess I should say, what was like your mindset, knowing, you're going to be a leader, senior leader on the team, captain and all that? I mean, was it a different mindset for you, or, how did you prepare mentally for that season?
Well, I think, the year before, we had a really good end to the season. And,
Mm-hmm.
we were a little smaller. Kyle was still basically playing the four, at times even the five. You know, G was coming off ACC Player of the Year. Um, uh, he won ACC Player of the Year, didn't he? Or no? Am I making that up? All right.
I think he was first team. I don't know if he was
I
the
mean,
player of
he
the
was
year.
right there for Player of the Year. He actually, I think he was runner up that year. So anyway, we lose G to the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Elliott Williams transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Elliott had a really good year into the season, especially. And so, talk about chip on your shoulder. I think for us, we felt like everyone was counting us out.
Yeah.
And then you made the decision to reclass. At what point? I'm trying to think. At what point did you make that decision that you were going to come early?
Um, well, I'll just give the story. So, I'm sitting at home, junior year going to senior year. I was actually thinking about going to Hargrave for my last year, just to get more of a college experience and, be able to get in, a program where you're lifting weights and you're doing practice and stuff like that, just to get that experience. And I'm sitting at home watching TV, and Gerald leaves for the draft and Elliott transfers. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, they only got two guards on the team.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally have two
Literally.
guards on the team. And so I turned to my dad and I'm like, why not just go to Duke? I'll just go early. I know I got the grades. I'll probably got to take one class or so to graduate. I was like, why not just go to Duke? And I was kind of kidding. It was a bit of a joke because, I'm not really thinking like, all right, I'm just going to enroll in a Duke. And he's like, okay. And he calls Woj, and Woj is like, yeah, let's do that. And so it kind of like, to me, it started as a joke, and then it kind of started to pick up a bit of steam. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I'm taking this online English class because that was the only thing I needed was English 12. I played in my last AAU tournament like at the beginning of August, and like 2 weeks later, I was like moving into the dorms. So yeah, that's kind of it started as a joke, and in a month or so, I was enrolled.
Because and obviously you weren't there for summer school, right?
No,
Yeah,
no,
you went straight, which is even harder. Like
yeah,
you're basically getting adjusted all at once. You get a chance to do that in the summer,
yeah,
but I think from the way we were thinking was, you have Nolan coming back, who
Mm-hmm.
had some really bright moments, but was still figuring out how to hand done consistently. And he had a tough break with an injury his sophomore year. He got the concussion, he was
Yep.
out. Um, and then you lose G, but then you have Kyle coming back, and all of a sudden, like, you have some really good big guys. You're
Mm-hmm.
coming in, with you got Lance as a senior, and obviously Zoobs, who again, Zoobs had some bad luck with injuries, so people didn't realize how good he could be. And then the two Plumleys are, they're freaks.
Yep. For
Mason is
sure.
a freshman and Miles. So, and then you had Ryan coming in, who was obviously really talented, but Ryan was still, filling into his body.
Yeah.
And so you felt like we have enough to make it work. We just have to, it's going to be a little different this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the shooting was a question mark. And so by you coming, that was like a huge bonus. I mean, I don't know what would have happened. I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm on your podcast. Trust me, I did not come here trying to compliment you. This was not my intention. But I'm just curious, like when you first got there, I know I don't know if you're mad at me for asking questions. I know you were,
No, please.
but like, what do you remember about the first month or two? Like when you're getting situated, like thinking about college, our team, like what do you remember?
Um, I don't honestly. I mean, it was a bit of a whirlwind because, like I was saying, I was a high schooler 2 weeks ago, and then like I'm this college student. I'm taking classes and stuff, and I think I had to adjust to the freedom a little bit because
Yeah.
I was just in the house most of the time. I was either playing basketball or at school in high school, and then getting a chance to just kind of roam was a little bit different. And then I remember the running. I still remember the first time we did a 7 ladder, and I made the 7, and I missed the rest of them, and like no, not even close. Like I think I barely made the 7, and I was like, I remember afterwards, somebody, I don't know if it was you or somebody was like, in a few weeks or a month, at the end of preseason, we had to do a 10 ladder. And I was like, what? I was like, there's no way. There's no, that's impossible. You guys are crazy. Um, I remember that. And then I remember, we played pickup a lot, obviously in the preseason. And I did fine. And, I was like, oh, yeah, college is easy. I thought college was just going to be like pickup games. And I learned pretty quickly college basketball was not like pickup games. And I also learned a lesson pretty early from Coach Will, because I didn't know any better. He had a one-on-one lift scheduled, and Pliz, I'm gonna blame Pliz, our SID guy at the time. Um, he's like, yeah, so and so wants to do an interview with you. So, I hit up Coach Will, and I was like, yeah, I'll be a few minutes late and to grab this interview. And so I go up and
I believe you did that. I never knew you did that.
yeah. Oh, I did. Well, I didn't do it twice.
All right.
So then, I get up there, and Coach Will, and he's the nicest guy. He's probably the best person I could have done that with, because he's, one of the nicest guys on the planet. He's like, yeah, listen, so, when I schedule a lift with you, media stuff is secondary. So you do the lift first and do the media after. I was like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, I learned a lot pretty quickly.
You should have tried that with Wojo. I wonder.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone over quite as well, I don't think. So I'm glad it was Coach Will. So in 2010, as the season is going, when did you feel like that team had a chance to be really, really good?
Well, I think when we the first time was when we won the preseason tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We beat UConn up in the
UConn,
Garden.
yep.
Kemba Walker, Jerome Dyson. They had Stanley Robinson. They had a really good team.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite plays, if I remember from that game, we were breaking a press, and I hit you on a pass, and you finished, and you did a little, one of these.
Yeah. I got the and one. Yeah.
And one. We rolled them. I mean, we had two, and we beat Arizona State the game before. I was like, we got something here, and then we beat Gonzaga up in the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously in any season, there's a little adversity. And I think a huge game to me when I look back on is the Georgetown game. You know,
Yeah.
you're playing, in front of Obama, packed, stadium. They obviously had a really good team. We got our asses kicked.
Yeah, they beat the mess out of us.
And I think we learned it was one of those games we went back to playing not that we were selfish, but too much one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take better shots. We lost our identity a little bit. And I think we got back. There was a huge wake-up call. I think we were closer after that. I think we, really stuck to how we had to play. And I think we really, took off from there. I want to say we won, 23 out of our last 24 or something like that after that game. Or it could be off by a few, but or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we won a lot of games that year.
We did.
Didn't
We did
lose
win,
very
win
much.
a lot of games.
Yeah, and won the most important one. All right, so since we're on 2010, you want to talk about? I guess we'll start with the Georgia Tech game where you weren't as open as you think you were.
Well, I was talking about losing our identity. We always talk about going from good to great. You always talk about like the extra pass. And so, I was struggling. I couldn't hit a shot for like a couple games. And, you came in and, gave us a huge burst. You made some good plays. And then you got the ball one time, top of the key. And I was like, Dre, hands ready. You can see me on film calling. My hands are there. And you go and drive. And I give a look. And then you go and you dunked on somebody. And that's the only thing that could have happened.
Yeah, well, I had to, right? At that point, I had to.
Because I was ready. But that was so critical moment. And, obviously I haven't even remembered that. For me to bring it up, I just, 10 years later.
In my defense, I do suffer from a severe case of tunnel vision. So when I start driving, I don't see a whole lot. So, it's been like that since I was a kid. I don't know what to tell you. But, you hit the game winner, so it was all good.
Yeah, it worked out. We won. That's what's more important.
Exactly. And then fast forward a few weeks, we get down to Houston and playing Baylor. Do you remember? I talked to Nolan about this. Do you remember that practice where the Baylor fan was screaming for our whole practice the day before the Baylor game?
Because obviously they I'm sure everybody knows this, whoever's listening, but there's these the open practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get like Baylor fans, you get some Duke fans, but it's like a mixture, and you get some different responses.
Yeah. To say the least, yeah.
But I think that it was again one of those things. Remember, so we always watch the when they announce the bracket. We go to the new club, they announce it. We found out we're a 1 seed, and I remember every announcer predicted us to be the first 1 seed to lose.
Yeah,
that year.
Yeah.
And so again, I just keep going back. All right, chip on your shoulder. Like everyone has doubted us the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
We
were alarmingly unathletic.
We are alarmingly unathletic. I think that was because of you, not me.
It was probably me. It's probably me.
I wonder why they would say that. Me and Dubes are back in the our apartment. Like, how could they say that?
Yeah, I wonder who they're talking about.
And we won the first 2 games, by a lot, and then we had a hell of a game versus Purdue.
Really good Purdue team. They
were physical, and man, it was tough. I mean, we ended up stretching it out towards the end, but then you always get a sense for, when the coaches give you the preview of the next game. And I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was Wojo's scout. For whatever reason, I remember that. I'm positive it was.
Yeah, I know Wojo did Butler. I remember Wojo doing Butler.
I guess it makes sense because they were alternating. So,
yeah.
And there was a much more serious tone of we need to play really well to beat this team.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about their size and their defense. They play this unorthodox kind of like a 1-3-1, but it was like a matchup. And so from then you knew you had to bring your best. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, I remember that their defense was. It's just weird because you play, you've been playing against man for 30 something games,
Right.
and then it's this completely different look, and you're running plays that you don't normally run.
Right.
We do
And
zone
one,
offense. Yeah, we do zone offense every so often during the year, but not against a 1-3-1 like that with 6'10", 6'11", and 7 foot. Like,
exactly. And
yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I remember in that game, I always felt like any team that's won anything, there's usually one or two moments where you either need a break,
Mm-hmm.
fortunate where something happens, or you need to really figure out a way to win when you're in that.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the Baylor game.
Yeah, that was the one, I think, for sure. If you looking not in the moment, you don't, you're just,
Right,
hey, we won another game. But
right,
looking back, that was the game that could have, derailed it.
right. And I think the two moments in that game, one was in the first half. It's always huge the way you end the half, and they were
Mm-hmm.
pulling away, and you hit two threes, but especially the second three.
Mm-hmm.
They're down six, and it could have been 10 easily.
Yeah.
And you end up hitting the three, and we ended up down three of the half, which I thought was huge when it easily could have been 10. Kyle was in the foul trouble,
Yeah.
so I thought, like, to be down three at half, we were in a really good position.
Yeah.
So again, I'm on your podcast. I had to give you some props, man. That was maybe the biggest shot that was hit.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like a huge shot. By the way, both your threes in that game were from me. You mentioned I didn't pass. I'm just saying.
Well, I just had Gerald on not too long ago, so that might be why he may have influenced me a little bit. He said you didn't pass much, but yeah, I think we were down 10, and yeah, that's a moment where it could start to slip away, and like you said, you want to end halves well, and it kind of like Cece used to talk about it a lot, is going on silent runs, like
Right.
end of one half, beginning of the second. And so yeah, I think being able to cut it from 10 to 3, you feel good. It's one possession. It could be worse. And then you guys were able to keep that momentum going in the second half.
And another one was Zubek taking the charge. We're down
Mm-hmm.
four with this is 3.5 minutes left. We end up, getting the charge. So instead of, going down 6 or 7, we get that. And then we come down and hit a three. I think Nolan hit a three to
Yeah.
kind of one. So, like, you talk about those moments, it's huge looking back.
Yeah.
And then LT had like the fake,
Yeah.
dunk, kind of
The baby putback.
the baby put back.
The strong putback layup.
You gotta get him on and ask him about that.
Yeah, no, yeah. I actually, we should have him on soon. I just text him like this past week.
All right,
so
good.
he's down.
Yeah.
So we'll
Ask
get
him
him
about
on.
that. Tell him I was very complimentary.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that. So then going into, I think this is kind of an interesting thing. Going into the championship game, you're a senior, that's your last game. Most of us aren't, most of us go into the game. We don't know. It could be our last game, and then it ends up being our last game. But
Right.
this is the last game. This is the championship. Do you remember any like different feelings going into that game? Putting the jersey on for the last time, or were you just like, we got to win?
Honestly, I don't know if that's like a really good question, because I don't even know if I've been asked that before. And it messes with you.
You get exclusives here
Yeah,
at
this is
Dawkins on Duke.
big time. This is Dawkins on Duke is high. This is high level, man, and a little more than what I expected.
Yeah. There's hard hitting questions over here, man.
It's just like it's weird because you're playing, throughout the entire tournament, you're playing to get to the next one,
Right.
and like, no matter what I do, this is the last
There
one.
isn't another one, right? Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want it to end, especially the team that we had, how close we were, the season we were having. So there's like mixed emotions. I remember feeling almost sad, and obviously then you get towards the game, and like I couldn't sleep the night before the game,
Mm-hmm.
because it's impossible. You're so excited. So I remember feeling very almost tired the day of the game, and obviously you got ready and you get up for it no matter what. But I'll never forget that feeling though. Like it's the last one no matter what. I'm just glad it was the last one with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the few that ends it with a W. I can't say the same.
Well, the thing that makes it cool is most people can't, and that's just the reality. I'm running low on battery here. I'm just plugging in my computer.
All right.
All right, there we go. Doesn't reach, so it's just like that.
Be all right. Then post college, I think I was actually watching a game where you hurt your eye. What was that? What was that like? And I mean, how were you feeling about your game before then? Were you feeling pretty confident, like you were doing a good job? And then what was that process like? And getting hit in your eye like that and having it be so much damage, career altering for you.
Well, there was no question the most significant thing that happened to me in my life in terms of my career. I felt like I was playing the best basketball. The game before I hit the game-winning shot. And it felt like the Heat. The fact they had only 3 guys actually 4 at that time on the roster. Because LeBron just signed and D Wade re-signed and Bosh, and I knew they were looking for a lot of guys with minimum contracts.
Yep.
And needed shooting, and so felt like I had a great camp. And it was a strange feeling. Like I don't. The other thing you were asking me before about my competitiveness. The other thing I've always prided myself on is showing up every day. And I never missed a practice at Duke or a game.
Yeah. You
so
have the record for most games played.
I did, and I think minutes my senior year. Proud of. But so like, and getting hurt was foreign, to me, to actually like stay down on the ground. And,
that was kind of when I knew it was kind of serious, because I was like, because I know you, and I'm like, John's not, if he got a scratch in the eye, he's he's gonna get up and walk to the bench. But yeah, just seeing you, not just pop up right away, I kind of felt like this must be something a bit more serious.
Yeah, and with that said, I was, I'm thankful you can't really tell, like there's vision loss permanent that I'll never get back. And, I mostly cannot see out of my right eye, but I'm very, very blessed that you have 2 eyes. So I can see and do everything I want. I still can play. I'm proud of the career that I had, although it's not what I dreamed about having as a player. I'm proud of what I accomplished still as a pro. And it really led me to get into coaching earlier, which I always wanted to coach at some point. I thought it would be at 35 after I had a career NBA, career. But it was at 25, and it set me up really well to be in a good position to be a young coach.
Yeah. Talk a bit about you playing overseas, and you played in Israel for a little bit. Were you like the biggest celebrity in Israel when you went over there? I mean, what kind of?
No, not quite, because it was the lockout year. So, had the eye injury that year. I took some time to just recover.
Yeah.
I also got mono during the pre-draft process. So you talk about me being 175. You're exaggerating. I was like 170. So mono for me, was like a big deal.
For sure.
White. And so I just took some time to get my body back, figure out my eye, how to, see again, and, just do all that, and correctly. So I played in the D League. At the time it was the D League, not the G League.
Yeah. I'm an OG, so I was in the D League too.
You were in the D League? Okay. Yeah. So look, I'm biased. I think the D League G League is better. D League's much better.
Pays better.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But Israel, it was the lockout year. So Jordan Farmer kind of screwed me because
yeah.
So he's like he achieved way more than I did at that point, or, NBA, Lakers. And so he was the most popular guy on our team by far. It was, I think, just a wake up call to how many good players there are out there.
Yeah, for sure.
You see the NBA, 400 semi guys, and like the top 100 are elite. But I think when you look at, from 300 to 1,000,
it's not a whole lot of difference.
There's really not. And I can say that firsthand, just being, I remember a game, when I was in Israel, Maccabi Tel Aviv, we were playing Real Madrid. They had, Serge Ibaka and, our big guy Sofo, he was, dominated him. Sofo never played in the NBA, but there's just a lot of really good players. I'm not taking anything away from Ibaka, but that's just an example. So I played in Israel, then I played in Spain, and I just got a good sense for how many good players there are in the world.
Yeah. Which was your favorite spot?
You can't go, I was really lucky. I was, to be in Tel Aviv, which if you've ever been there, you're right by the beach, and it's.
Yeah, I've heard every guy I know that's played in Israel has said nothing but great things about it.
I mean, it's as good as it's as good as it gets. And then in Spain, I played in Gran Canaria, so I was also on the beach.
Yeah, that's another great spot.
Which is so I feel very, very fortunate. Both were great, and both are as good as it gets for an American to go to. And I played more in Spain, so that helped.
Yeah.
Just like anything. But living in Israel, it's a special place.
Yeah. Talk a bit about how you came to the decision that, you were going to stop playing and get into coaching. And secondary question, is there a rule somewhere that a Glenbrook North grad has to be on the bench at Duke?
Yeah, that's a good point. At this point, it's been like 20 years consecutively.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. I actually had not thought about that, because the time I was, I knew I wanted to coach. I was never quite the same as a player. It kills me saying that. Like, I hate saying that, but I think it's true. I think more mentally.
Yeah.
And, because I think, you could probably speak to this. I was always like a very confident player. I was always believed in myself at a really high level, and I just never could get back to that professionally. And I also knew I wanted to coach, and there was an advantage to starting your career earlier.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it, and then actually we talked about CC. He was getting ready to leave for Northwestern, and or thought he may, and I thought maybe I could go with him until one day I talked to coach. And of course you hit coach for any big decision you're gonna make. And he said, look, if you're gonna get into coaching, I want you back here. And I think that's when I knew it's time. It made sense. And it was a great decision, to do that.
Yeah.
And I got to coach you.
I don't know if I call it coaching.
You listened better to me, I think, when we were senior freshmen than
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, that was.
I made it a point not to listen once you got on staff. So
that was. I was like, am I too young? Like, this is interesting. Like,
yeah, it was definitely an interesting dynamic, having you around. Yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't calling you coach. I made that.
Can you still get Gatorade for me? Like,
yeah. Yeah. I am forever a Gatorade getter for John, as he is my captain forever. So as a coach, you've kind of advanced in your journey as a coach, and being around for, that first year and seeing you, I know obviously it was probably a bit foreign and a little uncomfortable for you. How have you been able to grow and find your voice, now moving up all the way to being the associate head coach?
Well, I think it's the biggest difference, and you don't necessarily think about this or at least I didn't when you're getting into coaching. But it's not about what you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
about how can you articulate it and how can you get your players to know what you know
Right.
or what they should know. And I think so. Communication is really important, um, and also like just it's it's so much more than just basketball or
Yeah.
X's and O's, right? And I think that's something, on a day-to-day basis, you're not spending most of your time on X's and O's. It's more about how are the players doing and feeling, and you're thinking about the team as opposed to when you're a player. All right, I need to come ready to practice today. How am I doing? It's very much more singular focus. So, but I think that was the biggest adjustment, and I feel very comfortable here, knowing what coach wants and is looking for,
Mm-hmm.
um, and how to articulate it to our team. But I'm blessed, man. Duke's an amazing spot. We get to coach amazing players, amazing talents, but also great people.
Yeah.
So I feel lucky every day I get to walk in. I really do.
Yeah. And I know, Capel was the big recruiter when he was there, and he's obviously gone to Pitt. And from what I've seen, it seems like you've kind of taken that mantle of head honcho recruiter. What has that been like? I mean, how do you do that? I mean, are you just learning on the job? Yeah, how's that been recruiting
Well,
wise?
I was really, really lucky the year that you were there when I was first back as a special assistant, to learn from Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
Cape, and also Wojo, because they had been both. Wojo basically was like a head coach at that time, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he
Yeah.
was, and is doing great now at Marquette, and then Cape, with his prior experience, and they're both very different. So
Yeah.
like to learn from them, both of them, and how they do things was really lucky. And then obviously Nate, I've been close with from playing, and now us on staff together. Uh, and then the way we do things, look, people come to Duke for a coach
Yeah.
ultimately. And so no matter who's here, who's been here through the years, we've been able to recruit at a really high level for a long time. With that said, like it's all about the teamwork, man. And it honestly is. Like we don't, it's not like my guy or this. Like we do everything as a team. Me, Nate, Sewell, Nolan's able to do some as well, which is great. And again, coach is Mariano Rivera, man. He's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah. For
closer.
sure.
Like he's as good as there ever is in it.
Yeah. I want to talk a bit about this team, and what is this? 5 years for you now?
He,
Fifth year? What? Jesus, dude, you're old. Uh,
Five. How long has it been since you've been in
no,
school?
no, that makes sense. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought 50. I guess I just started at the 15 team.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, how does this team compare to some of the others through your 8 years of coaching?
Yeah, they're good. It's hard to say because of how unusual the year has been.
Yeah,
I mean, it's about to be it's January. It's January, and we've played 5 games.
yeah,
Like so, it's very hard to say. We haven't been in a rhythm to know who we are as a team, even
yeah,
for us as players. Like we're still so young in that regard. So we have a lot of potential. We can play small, we can play big. Uh, we have really good players, man. I mean, really good. It's just we haven't had the consistency of playing yet. So I think once we do, we'll have a better feel for you know who we can be as a team and where we can stack up.
yeah. Talk a bit about the struggles of this year that are unique to some other years. Obviously, it's a struggle when you have a younger team anyway. But on top of the COVID things, what are some of the things that make it more difficult for you guys to build this team and grow this team and get them better?
Well, I think just look, when you have to postpone or cancel a game, I'll just say it sucks.
Yeah,
No other way to put it. And it's hard to have consistency. Again, it's just when you get in the routine of playing ACC, in the ACC, regular season, you get in a routine where it's all right, couple of days of practice, game, couple of days of practice, game, off day, couple of days of practice, game,
Yep.
etc. We haven't been able to do that yet, and so especially for our young guys, and I'm gonna add Pat into that because he's new as well. So 7 new guys, they're not able to develop the habits or routines yet that you would if you had games. So I'm anxious for us to play more to get a sense not only where we are as a team, but then what we have to do as individuals collectively, to get better.
Yeah. What is that like? I mean, because I feel like it was day of that it got postponed. Like what?
Yeah, it was the day before.
What is
And
that process like?
we basically just leave it to our medical team and the
Yeah.
medical team of the other team we're playing. And, we try to find out as much information as we can. We've shown to this point we're not going to risk anything or put our
Mhm.
players in harm's way or anybody in our staff. And, with this, we are not the experts in this. Coaches said from the beginning, like, I'm not going to be making decisions on us playing games or not. I'm going to listen to the medical team we have. And we have an amazing team, man. I mean, so we get our doctors on the line. Um, our medical team talks, they tell us how they feel. They talk with the other staff as well to make sure. And then we figure out another time. And, we are working on getting another date. We want to play that game versus Pitt. But it's how it goes, and you have to be flexible, especially this year.
Yeah. How frustrating, because it's frustrating to me just sitting at home. We all
You're
love.
telling me.
No, I mean, in terms of like coach has been pretty consistent since last March in his stance on it and being careful and listening to experts on it, like you just said. How frustrating is it when I don't know, like I feel like he's been, like I just said, he's been consistent, but people are only taking, a snapshot of, okay, you guys just lost, so now you don't want to play any more games.
Right. Well, I think people always try to poke holes in what coach says, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And he's the voice and the face of college basketball. And, from the beginning, he has said not to start it on time. I mean, look, we started the season 2 weeks later than we normally do, which did absolutely nothing
Right.
to help with handling, COVID. And so I think for us, it is what it is at this point. Our guys want to play. We want to make sure we do it as safe as possible. I think Duke has done as good of a job as anywhere in the country in handling it and being safe. We'll continue to do that, but I think coach is not going to stop speaking out what he believes is right or wrong. And the thing is, no matter what other people say, the players and us as a staff are proud of him for going to bat for us. Like that's ultimately what it is. And so, but I think that's how it goes whenever he talks.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult when you have a situation where, a game gets postponed and, I know how practice goes. You kind of ramp it up, get ready for this game, and then it kind of gets cut out from underneath you. Is it hard to keep guys focused when that target is constantly moving?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's hard for all of us because you put in so much work to the preparation for a game, and all right, you do the preparation with no reward of playing the game.
Right.
So just the mental edge you have to get over that, then to move on. It's not easy, but like we let our guys scrimmage the next day, so they still got a game in, good conditioning, lighter day after that, and then we'll have 2 good days of prep for Florida State. But it's hard, and we're still figuring out what the right answer is because we don't know.
Yeah. Do you feel like the guys were able to come back a bit more refreshed, having that time to get home over Christmas break? Although, I mean, they didn't get Christmas, but they did get a few days to get home and spend some time with their families.
Like, I think it was huge.
Yeah.
The guys came back very happy, re-energized. I think I know the families were very happy to have their sons home for like you said, not the day of Christmas, but for Christmas break. And so, and again, for us, just to get a chance to recharge, get a chance to think about our team in a different light. And so I think we're going to look back in a couple months and be very thankful that we did that.
Yeah. Are there any updates on Jalen and his injury?
So Jalen is doing well. He's still, in that time period where he just has to rest and, he's working with Jose and Nick and, all that stuff, but he's doing well and no new updates. Just he's great, working out every day and, on his way back, to play here soon.
Cool. How's, this is out of left field. How's the golf game looking? I mean, I know it's in the season and probably can't play quite as much. How's that looking?
So my golf game stinks and it's
sense.
Not looking very good, but I would love to play. If we could play, maybe me and you versus G and somebody else, could be Nolan. I prefer somebody not as good, but I need somebody I can beat Henderson with because he golfs basically every day now. Mm-hmm. I don't golf at all. And
that's the life of being a real estate professional. We get to play all the time.
Can you carry me on the golf course, please?
I can carry you. I don't know if I can carry you against G. We might need to negotiate some shots.
Well, I'm gonna need you to get on the golf course and figure that out.
I'm working on it. Maybe COVID's over. Maybe next summer. Maybe the game may be at a place where we could take G.
Amen. Let's make it happen.
All right. Last thing, how we end the podcast is you got to win a game, and I need starting 5 and 6-man all-time Duke guys.
Oh my God. I think this is the toughest question ever.
Yeah.
Are you basing it, just so I know, I just have one question, based on their Duke careers or based, I just have
best,
that. I know I'm one of those guys who asks a question.
No, that's a legit question. Best Duke year. Best single season. So you can take their best year and that's what they give you.
Man, that's tough. So I need guys who are going to complement one another too, right?
Got to win a game.
Right? So I'm going Johnny Dawkins.
Okay. OG.
I mean, you got to have him in there.
Yeah.
JJ Redick, best scorer ever in Duke history.
I think you're the first. I think you're the first guy who's put JJ in.
I mean, if you're going off of what they did at Duke, averaging 26. I mean,
no, I know. JJ was my guy. I love JJ.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. No, I love JJ.
I'm going Grant Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, you know who Grant Hill is. I'm going. We have too many good players, man.
Yeah, it's tough. You don't want to create any enemies here,
I'm going along with them. I'm going Tatum.
Ooh, okay.
Has he been said yet?
Yeah. I think Ricky used Tatum last week. He had Tatum at the 2 though.
Look, I don't know about that. But really, but you were too many guards to me. The second half of his freshman year, he was the best player in the country.
Yeah.
And what he did in that ACC tournament was pretty special. Obviously, he's had a semi-decent career.
He's been okay. That team we talked about it before, but that team was a special team that should have. They should have got a ring out of that team.
And then I'm gonna go. I have 3 more guys I want to put in here. I have Battier, Leitner, and Zion. You know what he did his freshman year?
Monster.
Off the charts. I'll Battier be my 6th man, I guess.
Okay.
Shane's probably my favorite player ever to play at Duke. I think he's, especially his senior year, Leitner.
Leitner at the 5. All right.
I know you're cutting me off. I'm taking too long.
No. I'll take it. This segment takes longer than any other segment because everybody does the same thing.
I hate this question. It's a bad question. I'm low. I'm low on Dawkins on Duke now. I felt way better about it before this question. I got Zion. I got RJ. I got Ingram. I got Jay Williams. I got
Kyrie.
I got.
Nolan. You work with Nolan, and you left him off. So I'll definitely be sure to. I'm clipping this and sending it to Nolan.
All right, did he put me on?
No.
All right, so then there you go.
Actually, no. I didn't ask Nolan. He was the first one, and we didn't do that.
Well, until you put me on. I got. I could go on and on. I mean, it's unfair, to be honest with you. It's an unfair question.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
that's the point of it. So we got Johnny, JJ, Grant, Tatum, Leitner, Batty off the bench.
And Zion. Zion's in there.
So Zion's seventh man.
I got a lot of guys, man. That's a hard thing. I would have, Reddish come off my bench with, Kennard. How about that? Some shooting.
You can have Grayson,
Jalil. I got
Jalil, Tyus,
Carter,
Trey,
Bagley, Trent, Nixon. I got Tyus and Trey.
Yeah.
I got. I could. You want me to keep going? I got
Sheldon, Elton Brand.
Yeah, I can keep going. So it's a bad. I'm done with you.
Well, luckily I don't have anything else for you today, so we'll wrap it up there, man. John, appreciate you taking some time with us today, man.
Great seeing you, man.
Yeah, and good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate you.